G'day, Broads from Street Machine here as we continue to meet all the contenders for the 2021 Milwaukee Street Machine of the Year. Joining me again is Ian Marv Kelly. Marv, who you got for us tonight, mate?
Well, we've got a killer car here now. Daniel Wickman has the keys to a seriously spicy early Falcon. Daniel, can you give us a basic rundown on sort of the car that graced our cover a few months ago?
Yeah, no worries, guys. Thanks for having me, first of all. But yeah, the car was built by Image Conversions, and the engine build was done by Precision Racing. It's got a full PR10 package in it, full built Barra, 76mm Garrett turbo, all plasma man intakes and intercooler, fuel system, turbo 400, reverse pattern, fully manualized, 9-inch diff. It was built to be driven. It kind of blew out. It was never meant to be this unbelievable show car. It's even blown me away. I can't believe it's sitting in my garage, mate. I walk out there and I'm still surprised. But yeah, it gets used. Does school drop-offs, pickups. It doesn't sit there. It's not a trailer queen. The only time it'll go on a trailer is if it's clean and it needs to stay that way. That's it. Otherwise, when it's finished a show, mate, I'm driving it out of there.
The car's beautifully finished. Like the paintwork is absolutely glass smooth. It's got a great trim in it. Did you ever sort of envisage that you might end up with such a well-rounded street machine at the end of the day?
After meeting the guys and seeing their previous work at Image, I knew I was going to end up with that. And then I just started buying little bits and pieces for the car, and I was buying really high-end stuff. I've got expensive taste, and I just couldn't put it in something other than what it is. So it was kind of, those things started calling the shots, and you do one thing and then you sort of can't lean back from trying to make it a 10 out of 10.
What led you to put the Barra in the Falcon?
I love the Barras. I had an F6 Ute when they first came out. I don't know, just something about them. I wanted a high horsepower car, but I wanted it to be streetable, and they're one of those things that can achieve that. And I wanted a Ford. I wanted a Ford motor and a Ford car. I'm that sort of guy. It doesn't bother me when I see a GM in a Ford, but for me, I probably wouldn't do it.
It's a beautifully engineered thing as well. I mean, like built to a show standard, but you look underneath the thing and it's very much, you can see the Pro Touring influence in the way that the suspension and brakes and everything are configured. I know that driving the car with your family was a key consideration for the build. So it's very much designed to be used despite the way it looks, right?
That's it. And it drives really well. When we first hit the road in it, we were blown away by how smooth it was. It's a great cruising car. And then if you want to get under there, make a few adjustments, you could go do a track day in it. We took it out on the track when we first did it to do a few brake tests and things. And it went unbelievable. So I was blown away by that. And that was something I always wanted as well. I didn't want a high horsepower car that was going to feel fluffy. I was investing the money, so I thought, I want something that's just going to be really reliable, going to work, and be able to deal with the roads we're all driving on these days.
Obviously, being nominated for Milwaukee Street Machine of the Year is an accolade in and of itself. But do you have a favourite winner from the history of the award?
Oh, mate, I've got a soft spot for the coupes, so it'd have to be probably X-Boss, But for something that gets used, Agro XA also tickles my fancy. Those coupes have always, the rear end on it, man. I don't know, it's appealed to me for years.
And if we could add another classic Falcon to the trophy, how would you feel about that?
I'd be blown away. Maybe not just with the win, I think just being added to that list, that in itself for me would be the pride and joy. It was never one of our goals to go for the Smoddy, but I remember when it was released and there was a lot of comments going, "Oh, Smoddy right there," and I was like, I wonder if that's potentially contender. Like, mate, it could be on here. And then when I found out that it was in the running, oh man, I was just blown away. I had to warn all my friends on social media. I'm not a social media guy, I post too much, but I had to give them a heads up and say, guys, get ready because we're going to be flaunting this thing. Trying to push everyone for the votes and. We'll get it out there.
To anyone who's watching this video, what's your sales pitch? Give them a reason to vote for your car.
Mate, it gets used. It's not a daily, but I take it to work when I can, and it's not a trailer queen. I think it appeals to a lot of people. That's just my taste. I didn't build it for that reason. I didn't go wild colours apart from the red interior. That was one of my credentials. Everything had to be red in there. But yeah, guys, vote for the Barra. Vote for the driver. We'll try to run a strong campaign.
Mate, it's a killer car. Congratulations on your nomination. Thanks so much for having a chat with us tonight.
No worries, guys. Thanks for having me.
Now, Marv, let's keep it rolling, mate. I believe we've got another Smoddy contender on the line as well.
We sure do. And you might think of drift cars as being those noisy Datsuns terrorising industrial estates late at night. But we have a big, beautiful, boxy blue XD Falcon all the way from the Northern Territory here. So, Danny, can you run us through what this amazing sidewinding machine actually is?
Well, I guess it just started out as a pretty humble Falcon. It had a few different builds. We used to love the V8 in it and that. And we sort of got to a point where as the sport sort of evolved, we wanted a little bit more power, and more importantly, we really needed reliability. So we had to have another XD with a Barra in it, and that just hadn't given us any strife. So it was a no-brainer to throw the Barra in.
Do you get much grief from V8 guys saying you took the V8 out? Because you had a pretty spicy 410 cube V8 in it at one point.
Yeah.
And you've gone back to a 6. Does that cause a lot of blowback?
Possibly not. People are sort of, I think it might just be that Australian thing. The Barras are, it's Grandpa's axe. It's been around forever. And, like the XR6 Turbo Falcon, it's had its cult following, and at 20 years on, it's become a thing. So, yeah, surprisingly not. I miss that sound, though. That old 410 should used to scream, but the Barra's where it's at now.
It sort of stopped green top either with a spoolie boy strapped to it. Like this is a pretty serious Barra. How much power does it actually make?
We're knocking out roughly 500 real kilowatt. We're just aiming for 600 real horsepower. That was our target. So we started off with an F6 bottom end. That's completely stock. We used our money on things like dry sump and, just getting good ECU, getting a good sized turbo. We've got a GTW 3884, which seems to be a nice fit for the job. We knew that we wanted to put it into national competition, and we knew that it'd have extended periods away from home. So just with our experience with the other Falcon, the Barra was just the perfect fit. But the bottom end itself is straight out of Ford. I think my timing was perfect. I bought a couple of them, and they were only like $3,200 each, brand new, highest spec F6 motor.
The sport of drifting itself, it relies on pretty nimble cars sliding in very tight confines at pretty decent speeds. And you've got this massive XD Falcon with a huge, the Greens Tough style wide body on it. It's a big behemoth of a thing. Do you find that it actually, do you find it tough, or is it actually pretty easy to slide around?
We have good and bad rounds like probably anyone does in any sport. The size of it can be like when we're, running against walls at Calder Park is a good example where we know it's 100% commitment. And there's basically huge consequences. So the size of it, if I had my time again, I'd probably build a smaller car. It's one of those things. It's a challenge though. We like it because it's different, and there's no baseline setup for a car like it. So we've got to learn from our mistakes and remember what we've got right on our good rounds. And yeah, we just enjoy traveling around the country and throwing it up against walls and trying to keep it really straight.
On that, Street Machine as a magazine is centered pretty heavily around V8s and drag racing and that kind of stuff. Here you are nominated for Milwaukee Street Machine of the Year with a 6-cylinder drift car. That must make you feel pretty good.
Oh, it's crazy. Like in 100 million years, I would have never expected that. I'm totally humbled by it, to be honest with you. Like in the drifting world, we're a square peg in a round hole. And again, like a red center nats, and with Street Machine, with the same deal, with that little bit different. But I've really always appreciated those builds that are left of field, that, challenged to be a little bit different. It's very Australian. Do you know what I mean? Like we're very creative as a nation, and, I like to embrace that because that's part of who we are. And to be nominated for this award is, probably my favourite car would be Craig Parker's XY Falcon. That had a huge influence on me when I was still at school. I think, what was that, 1990? Early 90s when that?
91.
91, yeah. So I was just out of school, probably 91. I would have just been starting my second year of my apprenticeship. And I still have it, an XA Falcon hardtop. And that particular car motivated me to, try and build a street machine. And yeah, that was pretty cool.
And if you're able to go all the way in this competition and win Milwaukee Street Machine of the Year for 2021, how would that sit with you? How would that feel?
Would be absolutely thrilled with that. I've got to say that it'd be a very outside chance just looking at my fellow competitors. There's some mighty well-built cars there. So, the competition's tough. If it falls our way, that's fantastic. But just to be part of this process is incredible for us.
Give everybody watching a reason to vote for your car. Why should they vote for you?
It's the maddest XC Falcon in the country. Vote it up, come see us at the track. And you never know. The more exposure we get, the longer we get to take it around the country. And we just love what we do. We love the people we're meeting. It's just a crazy, epic adventure. And vote for us because we'll do something with it for sure.
It's such a rad car and something a little different for us. And we really dig it. So congratulations on your nomination. And thanks for having a chat with us tonight.
Thank you very much. Cheers, guys.
If Danny's XD appeals to you as a voter, by all means, jump on to smoty.com.au, smotty.com.au and lodge your vote. You could win $5,000 just for having your say in one of the biggest and most prestigious awards in our sport. So get along to the website, lodge your vote, and thanks so much for joining us.